what about giant sloths?
I've had probably 3 years of research into giant sloths. There is, in my opinion, one location on Earth. It's in high Peru, where nobody goes. It's a bowl of mountains, impenetrable. The only way in is a helicopter in the center. To me, that that bowl is going to be like a primordial Eden. All of the cultures surrounding it have old stories of giant sloths. Manapuguri, I believe is how it's said. It's the South American name for giant sloths. But they all have these stories of these giant sloths, right? They were all hunted to extinction. However, they've handed down these traditions. But nobody, except for, a tiny handful of tribal people, have ever really got into this impenetrable bowl. And I think if they're anywhere, they're in there.
Okay, I have a spicy conspiracy theory for you today. And I'm just going to start out by saying it's a lot easier to control the masses and control the narrative around something through emotional manipulation. So you'll notice if something is considered a tragedy, it's like totally taboo to ask questions about it. Case closed, that's it. So if there's people in the comments that have a problem with this or calling me insensitive for talking about this, that's fine, because if it's true, that's the desired outcome. Anyways, this is the crew of the 1986 Challenger space shuttle mission. Infamously, on January 28, 1986, the space shuttle exploded right after takeoff. The disaster was broadcast on live television to 40 million viewers. Two men, Bob Eberling and Roger Boisjolly, worked tirelessly to warn NASA about an issue with the shuttle's O-rings, making calls and warning anyone that would listen going all the way back to October the prior year. They warned that if these O-rings were used on a launch on a day that was below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, that there would be a catastrophe. But of course, no one listened, which automatically kind of makes me think they wanted the catastrophe to happen. Roughly 80 seconds after the launch, the shuttle exploded and all 7 crew members lost their lives. This is Judy Resnick, an engineer and pilot aboard the Challenger mission. In 2013, an eagle-eyed internet user found Judith Resnick, a law professor at Harvard Law School. Some people were a little taken aback by the identical name, age, and likeness, so they started digging. This is Michael J. Smith, also an engineer and pilot aboard the Challenger shuttle, who passed away that fateful day in 1986 at the age of 39 years old. This is Dr. Michael J. Smith, professor of engineering at the University of Wisconsin. This is Sharon Krista McAuliffe, arguably one of the most famous things about the Challenger mission. She was supposedly just a teacher that was picked at random to be one of the astronauts, which made it all the more tragic when she passed away due to the Challenger disaster in 1986. This is Sharon A. McAuliffe, also a law professor who received her degree shortly after the Challenger disaster. Dick Scobie was the commander of the mission. Here's Commander Dick Scobie next to Richard Scobie, the CEO of Cows and Trees. Here's his company's original logo. It's a cow, but it's not in a tree. It's strapped to a rocket, and gee, that jet stream kind of looks familiar. In fact, just in case I wasn't making it clear, the top picture is the Challenger ship shortly after exploding. So, Astronauts Ronald McNair and Ellison Onizuka both passed away when the Challenger shuttle exploded. Miraculously, it was found out that they both had twin brothers, Carl McNair and Claude Onizuka. But ancestry searches were done for both Carl and Claude, and there was no birth records found. And the odds of 2 sets of identical twins in a crew of 7 are astronomical. But that's just a theory. Rest in peace to the crew of the Challenger space shuttle mission.
That is pretty sus.
Every Disney princess is supposed to represent a disorder. Psychologists took a study down and they said in every Disney princess, there's like a clear disorder that they have. Ariel, if you notice, Ariel has a big ship and there's so much things around her. So she's a hoarder, and that's a form of OCD.
Is that OCD?
Yeah, she has so much stuff in her ship, but she doesn't throw it away. Easy one, Alice from Alice in Wonderland. What do you think she has, bro? She sees caterpillars walking around with eyes.
She has schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia. Belle, she was captured and put in a castle, right? So this is called Stockholm Syndrome. That means you fall in love with your captor.
She fell in love with the beast because he was the only one there.
Exactly.
Oh, shit.
Elsa and Anna, they're really reckless.
Oh, Elsa has bipolar.
Yes.
Yes, she has bipolar. 100%. I just saw that on the fly.
Elsa and Anna, warm to cold, bipolar.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, so all of these Disney princesses have some sort of disease? Well, that's my first time knowing that.
Do you ever hear about the 3 wishes that Alexander the Great had on his deathbed?
I think I heard a little bit, but go ahead. I heard a little
Bro,
bit.
it's pretty fucking crazy. So he had 3 wishes that he wanted for like his funeral, pretty much.
Yeah.
He said 1, he wanted all the best doctors in his village, where the fuck he's from, to carry him to the cemetery. He also wanted people to throw his riches, like his jewelry, his money and shit like that, like in the cemetery or on the street and shit. And then lastly, he wanted to have his hand hanging out of his casket. It's pretty crazy, bro, why he wanted that. So firstly, the reason why he wanted all the doctors to carry him, because he wanted to show that even in the face of death, they can't do anything.
They can't do nothing. They're powerless.
For his money and all shit, like why he wanted to throw his money out, he just wanted to show people that in death, all your riches and all the shit that you've earned,
They stay on Earth.
So
yeah, you can't take it with you.
They had to leave without you. The reason why he wanted his hand to be hanging out the casket is because he wanted to show that you're born empty-handed and then you die empty-handed. The only treasure that you lose is time.
Oh my
when you die.
god, bro, this was like ahead of
That's
his
what I'm
fucking
fucking
time.
saying, bro. Like,
And I forgot who was his teacher? Was it Aristotle?
I don't even know.
Yeah, Aristotle taught Alexander and his friends about medicine, philosophy, morals, religion, logic, and art.
Holy fuck, that makes sense.
Wow, there were some deep lessons, deep lessons.
So I watched this video. It was like a worker of Chuck E. Cheese, and then she was saying how a lot of people don't know, but she would find a lot of like condoms in freaking the ball pits and shit.
Whoa.
Of like
for
the
real?
Chuck E. Cheese like ball pits.
That's this. I
It's
think
fucked.
I've read some shit like that too.
And you know what's even crazier?
What?
Because you know when you walk into Chuck E. Cheese and then you have to put a stamp on your hand,
Yeah.
and then whoever you're with, you all have the same stamp. You know why?
Why?
That's because nobody gets abducted.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Abducted by who though? Like,
By like child predators, bro.
oh, that's
Because
that's the
that
spot.
yeah, that's the spot. And then in the confessions of like the Chuck E. Cheese worker, she would say like there would be men that come by themselves to Chuck E. Cheese, and it's not like they can do anything because it's legal.
Yeah.
But they would still just come by themselves to Chuck E. Cheese.
See, that pisses me off, bro.
That's fucked up, right?
This is Peter Scully, one of the worst pedophiles in world history. I'm about to tell you his story, but seriously, guys, this one is incredibly disturbing. It's so dark, and viewer discretion is really advised for this video. So Peter Scully, he's still alive. He was from Australia. He had a family there, but he was engaging in criminal activities, and he eventually fled the country and moved to the Philippines. And this is where the darkness really began. While he was in Australia, Peter Scully started up an international child sex abuse ring. The things that were done to these kids are, I mean, I can't even talk about them here on TikTok, but he also started up a pay-per-view video service. And with these videos, he was producing CP, but one of the most extreme forms of CP that can possibly be produced. So how did all this happen? Well, when he was out living in the Philippines, Peter Scully had 2 Filipina girlfriends. They would go out to the streets, they would find kids that needed money or looked impoverished, they would bring them back to the house they shared with Peter, and the things that went on afterwards are literally unspeakable. Remember, like I mentioned before, Peter was the head of an international ring of people that enjoyed the abuse of kids, and he provided videos for these clients. But his most infamous video was titled Daisy's Destruction. This video that he produced was so extreme, so hardcore that people on the internet, when they heard about what happened in the video, literally thought that it was an urban legend, and they thought that there was no way this could be real. This is an actual screenshot of the beginning of the video. This is a screenshot from the very beginning of the video. In the video, 3 young girls are repeatedly tortured for hours and hours on end by Peter Scully and his 2 girlfriends from the Philippines. They are beaten, they are sexually abused. I mean, I can't even describe, like I said on TikTok, some of the things that happened in this video. And 18-month-old Daisy. Now, keep in mind that all of this was on camera. That's the most disturbing part of this. One of Peter's victims actually ended up dying. They were buried in his house. And this sick individual literally sold that video footage across the world. And what's even more disturbing is that there were lots of people willing to pay to see that video. I'm not kidding. People were paying $10,000 to view this video. That is absolute insanity that there are people that sick out there in the world. And this is only the beginning of the crimes that this guy carried out. Some of the other stuff that we're going to touch on is absolutely disgusting. It's just horrific. And the story of how Peter Scully was eventually identified and arrested is extremely captivating.
So I saw one of his interviews, and basically, he didn't feel any remorse. Like he had no guilt whatsoever. And the funny part is, he has children of his own. I mean, what kind of sick and twisted person?
If you've ever experienced deja vu, this could be the dark reason why. We need to talk about this. Okay, so deja vu occurs when something happens and it feels like you've lived that moment before. So what if you've literally lived it before in a different life? Well, the theory is that you've lived hundreds of thousands of different lives. Everyone knows that when you're dying, you see a huge bright light, the light at the end of the tunnel. Well, what if this light is actually you coming back into the world as a baby? And the reason that every single baby cries when they're born is because they just died in their previous life. And think about it, do you remember anything from when you were 1, 2, or 3? Probably not, and that's because all of your memories from your past life are being wiped, so you don't even remember anything from that current life. But it's said that some of those memories from your past life aren't fully erased. And thus, deja vu occurs when something that happens in your life right now reminds you of a past life that you've already lived. And that's why it feels so familiar yet so different.
It's just a conspiracy.
This has been bothering me for a minute. If I don't speak about it now, I'll never have peace. So we know Dan Povenmire. He's the man that told us there's 104 days of summer vacation when that has never been the case at any point in my life. He was the co-parent of this kinda unknown show you probably never heard of. It's called Phineas and Ferb, starring a talking Dorito and an English kid with a jaw structure of Squidward's house. And they had a platypus who was, as you can see, bluish green, even though platypus people in real life are obviously brown. Also, keep in mind this show came out in 2007 and Dan the Man came up with the idea in 1993, apparently. Remember those years, it's important. Because in a fun little plot twist from nature, the scientists found out that under UV light, a normally brown platypus glows, yeah, bluish green. And we didn't find out about platypus being biofluorescent until nearly the end of 2020. So my question to Dan now is, how did you know?
Theory is Santa is actually a image of Satan.
Huh?
In the words of like Illuminati. Okay, I'm not saying I believe in this shit.
Yeah.
Like this is a reach for me, but like Santa, if you reorganize the letters, what does it spell?
Yo,
it spells Satan, bro.
No, nah.
Alright, what's the color of the devil?
Nah.
The color of the devil is red.
No, bro.
Alright, what is the devil attached to? Greed?
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And what is Christmas attached to? Having lots of things, having lots of, whether it be toys, whether it be like gifts, like you want to have a lot of something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Christmas, no doubt was originally the celebration of Christ.
I mean, I'm not saying it's right or I truly believe it, but I've seen a couple of theories digging in depth of the background of Christmas. And let me tell you, it's not very good.
I rewatched one of the episodes in Squid Game, and I noticed on one of the last episodes when they were all sitting in that triangle, it was Ji-hun, Se-byuk, and Sang-woo sitting at that triangle table, right? Did you know
the steak dinner?
Yeah, did you notice that?
Yeah.
Why would they choose a triangle? And when they panned up, they were on a checkered floor.
Oh.
What's the checkered floor stand for? A Freemason symbol. What does the triangle stand for? Illuminati.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And you know what? One of the biggest sacrifices that the Illuminati have?
What?
It's a blood sacrifice.
Oh, yeah.
And what happened right after the dinner? Blood sacrifice. She was the blood sacrifice.
Yo, there's a lot of shit going on about Squid Game being a wake up call.
I know. Because I mean it makes sense though, because that just shows how much power the VIPs had for the players.
Yeah.
You feel me? That's like real life.
Yeah.
Shit, someone might be watching us right now.